Hi Pisceans. Are we interested in a fire sign? Specifically Aries keeps trying to come through for you, but maybe even Leo or Sagittarius at this time as this reading finds you. We'll see if that King of Wands shows up again. This reading is for anyone who identifies with the sign of Pisces or finds themselves very interested in Pisces or just their reading in particular at this time. Maybe it is your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, or any other placement. Or maybe you just found the reading because of the title, or you just ended up here, or perhaps you are cross-watching Pisces. We are doing a 6-card spread for you today, and it is specifically to illuminate what's going on at the end of June 2019, the last half of June 2019 for you. But for some, it may resonate with the entirety of the month. For others, it may, of course, bleed into next month, into July 2019. I also just put up full moon readings a couple of days ago, Pisces, for the Sag full moon, of course. And I just did those all in 2 recordings, I think, actually. Got split into 2 recordings. You are in the first half, though. You may want to check that out if that energy still feels particularly potent to you. It is. It certainly is. I generally probably will not get the lunar pools that I like to do, at least not right now, not for a minute. I won't get to post those, which I like to do every time the moon changes sign at least, and then eventually I'd like them to be daily. But generally the week of the new moon or the full moon, I really feel like emphasizing putting those 12 readings out for each sign when I can. Because I feel like that energy, I know that energy is going to affect us for the next month, even the next 6 months and onward. And it's definitely going to be particularly potent that week. So this message may be very much connected to, similar to your reading for the Sag full moon, or it just may be like an additional message for you, Pisces. So you may want to check that out. But just to go ahead and get into this one, I see you working hard. I see you enduring a loss. This is the bottom of the deck. Overall, this reading is going to be about how Pisces is handling an emotional loss, and one that it looks like, if you check out these characters closely, one that it looks like both individuals contributed to, or all individuals involved, it contributed to. You see the young masculine character here is sort of being an obnoxious brat, but at the same time, this scolding motherly like figure here may cause as much damage with her screaming and flailing arms, right? She might knock over the other 2 cups. So looks like 2 abrasive energies came together to create a loss that you are dealing with. Or just 2 energies that didn't mesh well. Like the feeling I'm really getting from this particular depiction of the Deviant Moon Tarot that we are using today, Pisces, is that, you know, the younger character here really had to, the one who seems like maybe they were being a little bit mean and obnoxious, they really had to stand up for what they believe. It's as if, you know, you've lost someone who really wasn't treating you well, or a job, some version of yourself, some area of your life. There's been a loss, but that energy, that person or that place, that activity, whatever you're leaving behind, it really wasn't treating you well, is what I'm seeing here. And so you felt like you had to stand up for your own beliefs, and somebody is about to regret this loss. I'm just digging through the bottom of the deck right now. But someone is about to regret this loss, and it may have to do with the fire sign, like I said. Certainly looks like the 2 of you have had some verbal battles, or at the very least, you have been having mental battles about this loss, Pisces. But you or them, one or the other, somebody has been in and out of the picture, especially if it's a romantic situation. But it's time to focus on self-love and work. This is at the center, top center of your reading, Pisces. Work, 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 Capricorn-like energy. And Cancer energy right next to it. So you might be dealing with a fire sign. I also have a lot of Cancer energy. Scorpio and Pisces, your own energy. I think by the end of the month here, whatever you've lost and whatever you're working on, I think we're headed toward at the end of June 19 and going into July 2019, you feeling very much like yourself, very much in your power, very emotional, very expressive, very psychic, but also very diplomatic, you know, very emotional, but able to remain reserved and without feeling like you have to overflow with those emotions, right? Picking and choosing where and how you express them. Going into the second half of June 2019, Pisces, and some of you will still be experiencing this. This loss, though, is leaving you feeling stuck. Like you can't move forward, like you can't move away from that fiery, passionate, maybe temperamental, and certainly intense energy, the chaos, the fights that we were talking about that may have led up to this loss. There's something that makes you feel like you can't leave it behind. At the very least, you can't seem to stop thinking about it in order to get yourself to a better mental and or emotional place. But even beyond that, you may have some reason why you're literally stuck, why you cannot move away from it. Or again, it may just be emotional, mental. You can't stop thinking about them. You can't leave them behind. For some of you, they may still be trying to engage in fights with you, in verbal battles with you. And meanwhile, Pisces is trying to and needs to focus on work. Focus on maybe some work that's hard to focus on. It may be repetitive, but it is earning you wealth. It is earning you abundance. It is, you know, the Eight of Cups, or I'm sorry, the Eight of Earth here showing upright. It is paying off. It just may be repetitive, monotonous type of work, and so it's hard to keep your focus on that rather than letting it wander to where maybe your heart still is for some of you, or just something that's reeling through your mind. And moving to the end of this week, which we're here, right? It's already, well, no, it's the middle of the week, so you're working hard, but moving toward this weekend, the end of this week, you're still feeling stuck. Two cards of travel and movement and transition, but in reverse. So still feeling stuck. These mental, emotional battles and losses are leaving you feeling less confident, less energetic. I think it's something that feels like it has aged you very quickly. I think a lot of Pisces, because of this loss, because of this stress, this mental and emotional stress, you're really not even sure which direction you want to head into at this time, but yet you are working and you are earning. So you just keep doing that, right? You just keep swimming, fish. Just keep doing what you're doing, as we do what we can with what we have, right? So to the best of your ability, though it does seem like you're mentally and emotionally distracted, you just keep focusing on that work. You just keep plugging away. And you may feel stuck, but that doesn't mean the bills aren't getting paid, or even that your savings account isn't building up. You feel stuck emotionally, mentally, and maybe some of you even are physically, but wealth is coming in. You are earning. And even if whether you're saving it or just turning around and spending it, the wealth is still coming in. Even if it just pays for the bills, just pays for the food, that's the real wealth. The wealth is the house and the heat or the air, really here at this point, the electricity, the groceries and the bags, that's the real wealth, right? So it's coming in. You're earning. A lot of you, I'm feeling like you're distracting yourself from this emotional mental turmoil through focusing on work. And I think that's great, Pisces. It doesn't look like you're drowning in work. It doesn't look like you're addicted to it. It doesn't feel like you're resisting dealing with emotional and or mental turmoil either. It's just a time period of realizing what you've lost, maybe for some realizing what you said or what someone else said to you, and yeah, feeling stuck for a time. Some of you feel stuck because like you're moving out of a house with a family member, a roommate, a lover, a friend, someone who, as I said, wasn't really treating you well, and you just don't have anywhere else to go yet. So all you can do is focus on working and earning and saving because, you know, you literally can't get out of the space yet. For others, it is more that you can't get this person out of your mind, out of your heart, or these events, these fights out of your mind and heart. A lot of you, though, are feeling stuck in terms of where you're working and how you're earning. And you're in this hamster wheel type position, this 9-to-5 type position, and maybe it does earn enough for the work you put in, but you might not love to do what you're doing or how you're doing it or where you're doing it, or, you know, any and all of the above. And you may feel very stuck. Some of you are having travel issues, maybe complications with travel in general, a vehicle in general. And for some, it is absolutely all of the above. It is emotional and mental stuckness, but also feeling physically stuck at a place that you're working at the same time. So many different messages coming through for you, Pisces, as usual. And you know, it really, what I see is that so much work is getting done and so many tasks are getting accomplished. You truly have too much on your plate at this time, Pisces. You are juggling energies here. And I don't feel like this is juggling people in this reading. Could be, but you are certainly, I don't feel like you're juggling people in this reading, Pisces. For a few maybe. But if anything, this might be someone else juggling you. But above all, I really feel from the Two of Earth in this particular spread that you're juggling activities. Maybe you work at two different places, or you're struggling to do the work that makes money, but also make time for the work that does not make as much yet, right? Starting a new passion, a new venture in business. Or like I said, having a lot on your plate because you've had a loss of someone that was emotional and is mentally and emotionally draining, but you're trying to contend with that while still making it to work and while paying the bills. And so you feel like you're spread thin and there's too much on your plate, which leaves you feeling like nothing is getting done. I'm not moving forward. Nothing's growing. I'm not going anywhere, but so much is getting done. You are managing to work and earn at the same time that you are healing. And that healing may be slower than you'd like, but that is something that you are doing at this time, and you're juggling that with something else that requires your energy. Especially for those that well, either way. Some Pisceans, some feminine Piscean energies are very sad, maybe even to the point of ill, sick, over this loss, over this emotional loss, these battles that have taken place. Others that identify more as a Piscean masculine energy, you're missing your divine feminine. You're missing a counterpart or a mother figure in your life. For a lot of you, actually, Pisces, it is a Cancer. And it's going to be, my first thought is that that missing of a Cancer at this time would be particularly, again, potent is the word that comes to mind, because we're just about in Cancer season. The sun is moving into Cancer, right? Then my advice here for you, Pisces, is to just go ahead and allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to feel drained. Admit that this person, this situation, this work perhaps that you're trying to move away from, or maybe it's multiple people, not just one. Whatever has caused this verbal, mental battle and emotional loss in your life, admit to yourself that it drains you if it does. Just to have it in perspective, that relationship, that person, that type of work, that group of people, these types of energies, activities drain me. And they leave me feeling empty emotionally, mentally. They leave me feeling like even though the stress is gone, I can't quit thinking about it. Even though the stress is gone, it's really hard to focus elsewhere. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that you're working as you move through this period of healing, as you process this loss. But certainly we don't want our life to indefinitely always reflect only that. There's emotional and mental turmoil, healing is happening, turmoil and healing is happening, but I'm just going to focus on work. There's a time for all things, right? There is a time for that. Certainly there is a time for that, Pisces, but we wouldn't want our daily life to always reflect only that type of energy, right? We do want that healing to take place and to feel like ourselves again, to connect with someone else or something else in a similar way to that which we did with that we just lost, right? I think that was a sentence. It was close. You get the point. It's interesting. It's interesting. These readings, this type of work, this channeling is interesting. I used to be more articulate, I swear, and in trying to get these out as fluidly as possible, I'm truly less articulate than I've ever been. It's very interesting. It's addicting, and I love it. But sometimes you just have to take what I said, take what you heard, and run with it and let it mean what it means to you. It's just the nature of the work in combination with this particular reader for me. But yeah, again, just admit to yourself, Pisceans, that you don't know where you're headed, and then look at the reason why. Look at the things that have been stressing you, the person, the place. Just admit that makes you feel drained. That is more so than anything what wants to come through. What wants to be conveyed here to you is the power of that, admitting what has drug you down, what has stifled your confidence and your energy, what has, there might be some vampirical energy here from a person, an ex-partner, ex-roommate, a family member that you're distancing yourself from, someone that you had an emotional connection with because it was an emotional loss for you that you're dealing with. They may have been draining your energy more than you or even they even realized. Like I said, some vampirical energy here. Someone really like sucking you dry in some sense. And yeah, what wants to be conveyed more than anything is that first and foremost, admit to yourself what that was that made you feel this way. There's so much power in that. And you really are at a place where you're not really sure which direction that you're moving in, but for a lot of you Pisces, it's not because you don't know where you want to go. It's because with this lack of confidence and lack of energy at the end of June, you're questioning if you can get there, or you're waiting on your ships to come in. You've already invested in a certain path and a certain activity, project, some work of art in a sense that you feel passionate about. And you're waiting for help, you're waiting for your ships to come in, you're waiting for your ride to keep walking that path, and your own energy is probably blocking it at this point. If you feel this drained and this low and that lack of confidence, you probably have your eye on the prize. You know what work it is that you love to do. You may have even be in or have been in successful collaborations regarding that work, but you're just not feeling that oomph. You're not feeling your muchness. You're not feeling that surge of confident, youthful energy. You're feeling stuck instead. And the first step is looking at why. Just looking at why. What made you feel this way? Now, we want to take ownership We don't want a victim mentality, right? We want to take ownership. So ultimately you're going to come around to, I let someone, or I let something, a past version of myself, let someone or something make me feel this way. So that you're still in the driver's seat, you're still in control, and it comes full circle, and you realize yet again, as we all do over and over, that you can take the reins and you can get yourself out of that vibration, out of that sadness, just as soon as you can accept what has happened and accept that something has, had to be let go of. The pain of the situation, or, perhaps another energy who was in the situation with you who was draining and toxic, like we said. Some of you midweek at the end of June, there may be some issues with a mother figure in your life, someone else feeling sick and or sad if it's not you. And that can always be the case. This person who's moving through a loss, who's working really hard, but feeling the weight of that loss too much to really look forward and see what they're headed toward on the horizon thereafter, or believe in their ability to get there, right? That could be somebody very close to you, as always with these readings, that's just so heavy in your mind and on your heart that they're covering you here, that a message regarding them is what's showing up for you. That's totally possible. But I think for a lot of you, what is being put on the back burner is a choice of paths, because you want to be creative. You want to be a creator. You want to put out into the world what you love to create. And this monotonous, time-consuming work that is earning you rewards, income, resources, is just taking too much of your time. It's taking a lot of your time. And so you feel stuck, as I said, in that hamster wheel. How do I make time for what I love to create so that I can get out of this situation? And like I said, I think all that's being put on the backdrop, on the back burner, because you're so consumed and unfocused with this emotional loss and these battles and the lack of confidence that it created. And that's so much of what wants to come through here. I just keep repeating myself, but that's the message. It's just for you to be aware of it. It's not to criticize. You should be over this quicker. You should be out of these emotional losses. You should be moving on, moving out. It's not to criticize. It's just to give you an honest look at, this is the situation that you're in. This is who or what caused it. You have to answer that question for yourself. And I really think that you do. And I think you really need to give yourself credit, Pisces, because you do, once again, to repeat myself again, have so much on your plate. You are juggling your own energy, your own time, your emotions and your stress, and then your desires and your future. You're thinking about it all. You're juggling it all. It's very hard for you to find a space to just focus on one thing without thinking of something else that needs done or that you're forgetting about. And you need to meditate. Solemn contemplation, quiet meditation, all on your own, in solitude, no one else's advice, no one else in your ear, no one else's opinion. That's not to say you can't get those things, but you really need some time where it's just you, Pisces, just you. That actually came through for us the first time I tried to record this message, and then for some reason the recorder just cut out, so I had to deal again. But that was the main energy coming through the first time, was the Four of Swords, and you needing to meditate in the quiet, in solitude, maybe in the dark is what I'm feeling. Just really go within so that you can find that space of focus. You want to find that blank space, but also what you're going for here in particular is to find a space of focus. Because I think between the verbal battles, the mental decisions, the stress, the overwhelming emotions, and then trying to do both, pay the bills and be a creative creator in the world, it's just too much. There's so much to juggle. And I'm not saying you're juggling it unsuccessfully either. I don't see that. I don't feel like that. It's just time to give yourself credit for that. And I think as soon as you understand why you can't focus on one and how completely reasonable it is of you that you're unable to focus on one at this time, that it will lift. And like I said, at the end of June 2019, moving into July 2019, I just see you feeling so much in your own power, so much in your own element, feeling so much like yourself, comfortable in your own skin, The healing has really started to take effect. You know how to creatively express from your heart space. So a lot of you are going to, in your art, in your work, or in the way that you're loving other people in your life, you are going to utilize the vibration and maybe even specific details of this emotional loss that you've been going through. You know, you're going to put it out there to your followers. This is just the first word that I can think of here, but like to those people who appreciate the work that you're creating, your audience, your public, your followers, your subscribers. You're going to use that emotional loss. You're going to share it. You're going to at least share the energy, if not the details. You're going to share the energy of it. And overall, what it's going to do for you personally in your personal relationships is make sure that you're sharing in a more diplomatic and reserved manner. It won't make you any less of an emotional creature. It will just make you a master of your emotions. You will be careful how and where and with whom you share certain emotions, when you share certain emotions. You will just be very reserved, but that doesn't mean that those emotions and that creative ability aren't there. In fact, because you can hold them in reserve and choose how and when to share them, you will be able to do so, to share them with a more focused intention, channeling it directly into specific relationships, specific conversations, specific projects, and especially works of art, I feel like, coming through. And or healing work. Oh. Huh. I wonder if maybe I should just leave it like that and let you see the cards. It is not a very good angle though, is it? Let me see. Well, that's not a particularly helpful angle, but we are wrapping up anyway, Pisces. But yeah, it could also be healing work, is what I was just about to say. Counseling work, light work of any kind, an energetic healer, or you know, a therapist, a doctor, etc., etc. Any kind of healing work, or artistic work, again, that is healing for other people. So that's what I see coming through. You're going to be ready for that type of work. You're going to be in an energy where you can certainly deliver that healing to other people, that art, that creation to the world. You're just in a time period of feeling stuck, and you just need to understand that it is understandable. It is not a weakness. If you are receiving criticisms because of it, you do not deserve them. Everybody goes through these periods of being stuck, being stressed, being emotional, being overwhelmed, having too much on their plate, and really needing to decide what gets cut out. And I don't think it should be any of your activities at this time. I think it's a person or a group of people or an environment in general that doesn't serve you, that does not help you thrive, that does not help you be your best self. And like I said, for some, maybe it is because there's somebody who has been juggling. Maybe that fire sign that you can't seem to get away from, Pisces, has been juggling more than one person. And it could be you, you know, like we said earlier. It doesn't mean it can't be you, but even in that case, even if that's the case, again, I feel like there's a person who's taking time that needs to be cut out, rather than an activity, rather than a creation or a work that is earning for you. But you will have to make all of those decisions with your own discernment for yourself, and I know that you are more than capable of it. So I will leave it in your hands. I thank you so much for all of your support to LunarTicksTarot, especially donations lately. Thank you so much for that to all of you, and orders as well. If you need a private reading from me, just scroll down to that description box below. That is where you can find the link to donate, and you can find all the links for ordering, all the information you need for ordering. You can also find my email address, lunartickstarot@gmail.com, and you're welcome to email me first or at the same time, so that we can work together that way instead. Anything else I wanted to say to you? As always, Pisces, I hope you make wise choices for yourselves moving forward. I love you very much, fishies, and I will post another reading for you as soon as I can.